Hello, everybody. Welcome to the engine house. It's been kind of nuts around here. I haven't had much of a chance to shoot some videos like I wanted. I get a minute here, a minute there, and it's been kind of crazy. I'll be shooting this one, and then my son and grandson and myself are going to the Ghost Trains of Maine here shortly. I have a presentation coming up that is going to be broadcast statewide. I've mentioned that before. Directly after that, I'll be having some surgery and I will be out of action for a while. So I'm trying to get some of these done as well as some housework, which is why I haven't really been catching up on stuff here that I should have been. I've been kind of squeezing things in. If I look a little disheveled today, it's because I just finished up what I was doing in the bathroom and I have to buy some more specialty screws for the cement board. So I'm done with that for today. Hello, Amarok. I have Amarok, our lab mix, and I think I have Shop Kitty here. Okay, anyway, here is where I am at on this. I started this here. Okay, this is the tool and die kit, which is going to be Gruesome Cannery. And I've been kind of experimenting with paint and whatnot. And with doing everything, I hadn't had much time to really sit down and shoot a video. But in the process of getting all of this building, and again, there's two buildings, I missed a piece. So I'm doing this one today to show you what I'm doing. And this is kind of a something I'm experimenting with. And we're going to have to put up, hi, Shop Kitty. What? So we're gonna show you what I'm doing here along the same lines. In the video I started when I started with this, I mentioned that you can make your own stain, and I did using gray. It was a darker gray, as you can see. This is a pretty dark gray here on that. It darker, I could have gone lighter. This is what I wanted. Hi. Okay. Yes. Okay. There you go. Cats are a lot of fun. So in the process, I'm looking for a faded paint per se, which you can see. I think I managed to get it on this. I have done a little dry brushing with some paint here and there, but I have been doing mostly a little faded paint using the same technique that I used with the gray paint. I took some blue, about 8 or 9 drops of this, and a very little bit of water. Here you can see, let me hold this up okay, it's not a lot of water right there. And what I was doing was going I'm gonna paint Shop Kitty's nose here. She loves it when I'm up here. So what I was doing was painting this with some of this blue. Okay, and you can see some of that. Now, I'm going to let that dry. And I probably give it 2 or 3 coats. And you can see up near the top on this piece, I got a little darker here. That's because if you look at the picture of the barn, hi, can I get my paperwork? Gotta love that cat. I know I just put if there was a snake, it would have bit me. I have that barn here that I took a picture of. Apparently, I've got 9 squirrels running around in my head. One is dead and they're all on the same wheel, so running in different directions, so you got to bear with me. there is somewhere here, there is a picture of a barn. I showed it in the last video where you can see that there's a nice paint right under the eaves of the barn, and the rest of the barn is pretty much gray. The paint is gone. And that's typical of a barn or any building that hasn't been, handled and repainted and whatnot in a lot of years. So that's kind of the look I was going for with this, and I think I got pretty close. One of the other things I'm doing here that I will be doing, okay, there's trim, by the way, that covers everything up except for the stuff on the roof. You nothing to cover these up. This is one of the roof panels. It basically goes on here. I'll set it in place. I'm not quite ready for it yet. All right, maybe it goes on here. I don't know if there's a specific. There's that. And hi, shop kitty. There we are. Okay, it goes on like that. And there's another one, and on the other side, and then this here, and these are part of a building that's set here. And I will just kind of set this in here so you can see kind of how it looks. Okay, and then there's a roof on that, and these other windows. Anyway, I'm not happy with these shingles here. So we decided, and I say we, meaning my lovely wife, who is fantastic with a computer, we printed these off. Now, you can buy sheets of shingles online. I don't know, I can't remember where I ended up with this pattern, but we pulled it off, and I used it on my lobsterman shack on HO. The shingles on there were gray, and I asked my wife, I said, I'd like shingles kind of tan on this roof, and I'll dirty them up a little bit with pencil so they don't look quite as new, but I like those better. They're going to cover these slots, and they'll look real, basically, when I'm done with them. And all the roof sections are like that. Here's all the roof, well, almost all. Here's all the roof sections that go with this building and the catwalk that goes in between. I'm closing in the catwalk on this. There's a picture here. I've showed it with the catwalk. You can see the catwalk right here going between the two buildings. That's nice. I want, my grandson mentioned like a conveyor in a previous video, and I thought, but it needs to be enclosed. This is going to be going between the two buildings, so it needs to be enclosed. So I'm going to enclose it and put shingles on the outside of it, like it was an addition later on, and they had shingles, and they just threw shingles on it. Also, one of the things I did, it's hard to see in this picture, this here, I was discussing that with my son, and it was, I'm not sure if it was a window or a door, but it was up off the, so I cut the base, I cut this piece out. You can see right here, this piece right here was down here, right in here, and I cut that piece out, and I moved it up here, and then I cut the bottom of this off. This is the bottom, and I moved the door that down, so now it is a door. My son suggested I have it kind of up like this. I think more along the lines I'm going to have it open like that, or even the other way. It's going to be open one way or the other. So that's where we're at on that. That's the nice thing about, when you're doing something like this, this says it's a tool and die. Okay, it's a tool and die. Basically, you can do anything you want with it. Once you got it, you can modify it. You can do anything you want. As in closing in the catwalk, I put this door in. This is where the catwalk goes to the other building. And I'd already put the door in. And then I decided I was going to put the catwalk in and I was going to cover it up. So I really didn't need to put the door there. That's okay. I have a door on the other side as well. I'll toss it in my spare parts, and it'll be there if I need it for something else. So that's always good. This piece back here, of course, they need kind of a furnace room. So this back here is going to be more or less, it's going to have a chimney. I have a piece that is going to work as a chimney. Apparently the dogs heard something outside they don't like. So anyway, this is where we're at on this. And there's trim to cover up. You can see here, this comes together. You can see how the tabs are. 1 second. Okay. My son and his wife just showed up. They'll be in a minute, I'm sure. And my grandsons are there. So they'll be here. Now this wood soaks up a lot of paint. So this may need 2 or 3 coats, and I give it 2 or 3. It does soak up the wood, and the wood does tend to soak the paint up. Come on in, son. You got the boys with you?
Yeah, they're coming up.
Okay.
I also wanted to show you pallets. You got a lot of them.
Well, look at that. Well, thank you, son. My son just gave me this. I needed pallets. He got me some pallets. You know the hobos that I ordered? They were supposed to have been delivered yesterday. They were still in Springfield, Massachusetts. So I don't
trust the mail anymore.
I don't know when they'll be here. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this is what I've been doing. And again, here in the near, I will be going in for surgery. There'll be the last video where I started this. There's one of my son and grandson. You've probably seen that one. That one is coming out real soon. And then there'll be this one. There'll be the presentation that's on the 21st, and hopefully one on the ghost strains. Other than that, I won't be doing anything for a couple of months. So trying to get stuff done here now. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you what this again, this looks pretty good. It looks weathered. It looks like the paint is fading. I'll show you the dried. There it is. And the windows and doors, that's really, really simple. Here we have a door here, and I'll show you exactly how we do that. I use light buttermilk, okay, and a piece of sponge. And it always helps to have some sponge handy, and you want to tear some of this up so and of course the paint that's on it will dry. We'll give that a shake. We'll add some of this here. You want to take a corner of this, dab it in there, and get most of it back off. And then we're just touching it lightly on. You don't want to cover everything. And as you can see, the sponge is a little hard to get into some of these tighter places. So what I do have is I have a tiny little paintbrush here, and we will dab that in. And the goal here is to make this look like chipped and faded paint. And again, this will be near the ocean, and it has not been well taken care of. They leave it alone, and there you have it. Okay. chipped and faded paint on the door. And I have a whole second building here that still has to get built. There won't be any videos for a while. Hello, my grandsons. My grandsons, come on in, come on in. You met this one here, the tall one. This is his little brother. This is Dorian. Hi, Dorian. Can you come here and say hi? Come here. Hi. Hi. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. My grandsons. They're my favorite boys right here. Gotta love these guys. And this one here, I don't know. I'm gonna have to put books on his head or something. Until I am recovered from my surgery, though, the video I started with these two on the painting will have to wait. We have the primer on them. We have the other stuff. I have that stuff ready to go, but it's going to have to wait until I have recovered before I shoot another video. So you'll be seeing more of these guys, because when we go see the ghost trains, this guy will be coming. I don't know if this guy is going to be up for the walk. It's a hike into them once you park. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see, won't we, buddy? With everything going on, and my grandsons and my son showing up, I missed a little something here. It's nice having them around. I enjoy my grandsons, and they're a lot of fun. Anyway, this arrived in the mail. This is going to be the replacement for the Green Pastures Dairy building that I had started. So let's open it up, right? Because I have no idea what this looks like. I ordered it. The weather's kind of nasty out there today. Wow. Okay, let's just do this. All right. Packing peanuts. Hate the things. Anyway, with my grandsons, and as you could tell, one has special needs. Lovely boy. Absolutely love him to death. So let's see what we got here, and if I can get this out of here without spilling these silly peanuts everywhere. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, I'm going to set this aside for a minute. Okay. We're going to set that over there. Here it is. Atlas Fairview Farm Dairy. This is going to be the new Green Pastures Dairy. It will not be the Farm View, Fairview. And this is quite the kit. It shows a little detail work you can do on it, which I'll be doing some. I'll be making some modifications. I'm assuming it does. Let's look at this. You know, I keep a pair of scissors up here for this reason. I don't know why. Some days I just plain don't know where my brain is. Anyway, here we have the instructions, and they are pretty straightforward. Not too bad. We have some stickers. We have Dewey Meadow Dairy is what this looks like here. I'm gonna take these out. I got a little from Contented Cows, Carnation Milk, Borden's Milk Products. Some of these may go on there. It's definitely not going to be the Clover Hill Dairy or the Dewey Meadow Dairy or the Fairview Farm Dairy. Carnation Milk and Borden's Milk Products, maybe those will go on there. I have my own. There's, of course, some office loading dock shipping. These, I believe, are, I'm not sure if these are wet. Well, I'm not going to mess with them right now. We're going to put these back in here. Here are parts of the loading dock. And of course, I have my own. So I'm not going to probably be using this. This looks about the same height. There is my loading dock. There it is. Mine apparently is just slightly taller. Okay, well, I may have to build a new loading dock. Or cut this one down. We'll see when I get to that point what we got going on here. And windows and doors. Green, my favorite color. Will they stay green? Who knows? They're including the window glass, if you want to call it that. And I'm assuming this looks like a base and or a roof. And of course, we have the building walls in here that are wrapped in bubble wrap. We're not going to take those out right now. We're going to leave that alone. There we are. I will be, of course, doing some modifications on that later. But this will be the new Green Pastures Dairy. And I do like the building. There will be, of course, some details added. Yeah, I kind of like it. We'll see how it goes. So that is what I had part of the video I had intended earlier, and then my son showed up. So in the meantime, while I've got that right here, and I'm doing this, now a lot of this, it does not take long to dry. So I'll be putting on a third coat. Let's do that right now. We want to mix this up. And this is just my experiment, okay? I'm just experimenting with this. You could probably use less water and get a little bit thicker if that's what you were looking for. You know, it depends on what you want. I wanted faded paint on it that had been weather beaten. And so that's kind of the look I'm going for. And I think I've achieved it. So we'll see. Also, in one of them, of course, these windows, and I opened them up in the they're part of the very top, as I showed you earlier. So we are going to leave that alone. I believe that is probably the last coat. There may be one more. And then we will start putting things back together, or putting it together a little more, doing some trim. And I will probably continue to work on this as I get the time, but I won't be shooting a video. So the next one you see of this, a lot of it will probably be finished. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. And I will catch you next time. And again, there'll be probably a couple more videos coming out and then nothing for a while. And then I'll be getting back to it. So enjoy. Bye for now.